lack of a better term, the constitutional definition of a public forum. It's access, okay? If you go and you look at all the arguments that have been presented over the course of time with regard to case law, there's a very clear definition of what the public forum constitutes, and McIntyre is definitely lacking in that sense, very much so.
Hey, Dave. I think, for the most part, if it's a park issue, why we're here, we're not allowed to be here, well, you're just moving us to another park. So obviously it's not a park issue. I think this is the best suited for our needs right here. That's why it was chosen in the first place. And if it just seems to me like we're being shoved off out of the prominent view. Why is this park so precious? There's 5 parks around here where people can go and bring their animals. I remember you said at the council meeting, you know, people want their park back. Well, we're people too, and there's a lot of parks around here. And like, I don't live by a park, and when somebody buys a house, they don't get the park with it. So I get in the car and I go to a park with my dog, like I did today. Other people can do that too. So the Occupy movement, in my mind, somebody was saying, you know, what it means, and it's contrary to government. It's contrary to Wall Street. It's contrary to the paradigm which we're all working in. So in this sense, staying here, in my mind, makes sense. You have to realize. But moving to another place and putting us obscure and off the map seems really contrary to our movement. And I think, personally, you know, we should just dig in here and let the chips fall where they were and let the city stand by their actions and us by ours. That's what I got to say. Thanks.
Like I said before, we never consensus as a group as to whether we were working with the city or not, and that was tabled till Tuesday. So us telling the city all our plans that we don't even have or haven't come to doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
You're not just the office you hold, and you're also a member of this community. And you know, this is a public place. We've been dealing with issues of boundaries and what is right and what is wrong and what is beneficial to us and what it isn't, and who needs to know and what terms and why. We just have to let it go and just see where the chips may fall, because I think we did prove ourselves on Monday, and I think that there's something very valuable here, and I think a lot of people don't want to see it taken away, and I think that even people who are not here, I've been stopped downtown many times thanking me. You know, we've made a lot of change, and we're really, you know, we are different than a lot of the other Occupy movements, and I think there's value in that. I think discussion is extremely powerful. The power of communication is more important than not talking about it, because not talking about it got us here.
I just think that, like, regardless of what we decide to do, we had all decided last week that we would make this decision. We have to make sure that everybody here in this park, in this community, knows about that meeting. That we make sure that all of us, if you want to stay, do the research and do the reasons for why we should stay here. If you want to leave, pick that place you want to go to and research the shit out of it and do it. You know what I mean? Like, bring these ideas to GA. Because otherwise it's going to be a wreck. I mean, it's going to be 3 hours of all of us arguing with each other over, like, this spot or this spot. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm sorry if you don't like it that I'm telling everybody what I think is right, but that's my opinion. And, like, if the group wants to go along with that, then that's awesome. And if not, then I'll hear it out. And, like, maybe they'll tuck me into some other place. That's, like, the magic of this whole thing. You know? So, like, I'm not trying to tell people what to do. I'm just saying, like, I'm going to research my shit. And then, like, you know, like, if I presented it, everybody has an equal thing, you know? Like,
options are
whatever.
good, and we're being in a public place. You know, we're not trying to hide things. It's just, in some ways, we just need to talk about them more. We need more time. Time is, I think, the deciding factor. I think that we're not going away, and we're just figuring out how to spend our time. Janet.
I want to say thanks for taking the time. A lot of officials haven't done that, and that shows that there's at least a caring for interaction. probably one of the more conservative people in the group when it comes down to what we say, to whom and when, and inviting folks to engage in our way of doing things rather than doing the nice guy thing that we're used to. You know, they say cross the street, so we cross the street. I'm probably one of the people that says, this is actually a sidewalk. We don't have to cross the street, you know? And so I do want to say that I don't think that we're going to come, I don't think that we're going to come to any decisions today, but I do think that, you know, there's value in this space, and that we took like 2.5, 3 hours talking about it before we came out. I also want to point out that many of us came out in force to the city council meeting, and I think that personally that's community activism. And I do think that if you bring your body there, unless you have a problem where you can't leave your house, that kind of does trump writing nasty letters about how something's getting on your nerves. And as a realtor, I do want to say that people do buy houses because of the surrounding areas. And if we have a little more time, we've talked about, and this isn't speaking out of turn, we've talked about going around to the community and talking about how we could be more user-friendly to them. You know, we just got here in relative terms of, you know, we're just beginning to unveil situations that really we've sort of had our heads underwater and believed that the media is supposed to bring us stories about things. And, you know, this is a group of people who's just beginning to educate themselves and each other about serious problems that are happening with the environment, with the military, with our communities. And so there's a lot of opportunities for awareness where, you know, where we can begin to grow after having the opportunity to sort of establish a bit more of a community here. I think that, well, this gentleman came out to the city council meeting and spoke against us. And I've only been here the past couple days out of the past 5, but every day he's been here and is part of the community. So, I mean, I think that there's an opportunity for us to go out and say, hey, what is the beef? Are you really afraid to walk your dogs here? Because seriously, we're not going to bite you. What? And that's community interaction, and that's, you know, that's something that we're willing to do. That's something that but we haven't had time to hardly do anything. And it sucks for a lot of people to be sleeping in the cold. It's not they're not doing it because it's fun. I mean, this is really serious stuff, and I appreciate it being taken seriously enough for you to take the Sunday afternoon away from your family. But we have a lot that we can still do as far as community engagement to have conversations with the folks if they're willing to show their faces and be a member of a community, you know, and say what the problems are that we can come to the table and actually address with them and help them understand really why we're here. It's not to get anything. So if they're afraid of dogs and there are dogs here, then that can be addressed. If there are, you know, other situations, those things can be addressed. And we can talk about all that stuff. But, you know, I don't think, I appreciate your time.
So it just brought to my attention that we spent about 30 minutes on this, and just for the interest of time, I'm going to say anyone who wants to speak on the stack to come up, and then I think we're going to close the stack for today, if everyone's okay with that. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know how to phrase a question. I have a question.
Okay. Point of information. All right.
If I want a chance to sort of respond, do I need to get in the stack?
Yep.
Yes, so
Okay.
you should do that. Yes. So there we go. So the stack will be closed as of 30 seconds from now. So if you want to run in and do that, and then we'll have everything together. Thank you.
I guess I just want to take the opportunity to, a lot of things that were brought up in the city council meeting in opposition of why we're here surprised me, because not one single person from the surrounding neighborhood or one single person from any of the organizations that had a problem with us has, to my knowledge, ever come here and tried to address the issue. And it's the adult thing to do. Like, it is the grown-up, big kid pants like thing to do. So if you have a problem with somebody, you go and you talk to them about it. You don't run and tell on them. So I would invite anybody who has a problem to like come and talk to us.
Right, respond.
Yes.
Direct response.
Yeah, one of the guys at City Council that actually did have an issue with us and said some people were scared. He has came here a few times.
He's right here.
I'm right here.
Thank you, Gerald.
I'm right here.
Well, but,
I'm right here.
but not even just members of the public, but agencies like Pasha, they didn't come to us. That's why I initiated a meeting with them.
That's right.
Shannon was talking, and yes, she said something about we have more time, we're young, and we have had time, but we haven't really been able to engage the community to our fullest yet. I think one of the reasons that is because we've been so worried about whether or not we're going to stay. We've been planning this for the city council meeting. We've been reacting to the city council meeting, and we're spending so much time on just keeping the movement alive with a physical location that we haven't been able to do that. I personally don't think McIntyre is the best choice. I'm also not really that attached to Lee Park. I'd be willing to consider a move. It's just, you know, we need somewhere where we can, I mean, almost as valuable as internet access to me is that we've got a good period of time where we're not going to be kicked out and we can actually like do a lot more activism and community engagement.
All right. I want to thank everybody for being very honest and forthright. And, that's why I came. I wanted to hear what was on your mind. I realize maybe not always agree with your point, but we do want to work this out. As I said, right now, I know this is not a popular position. Right now, there's not a lot of support on City Council for keeping it in the park. And I am not wedded. Actually, the reason we looked into McIntyre Park was several individuals from this group came to us and said, what about McIntyre Park? So we're not trying to force that down anybody's throats. I want to be clear about that. And I heard loud and clear today that there's a lot of good reasons why McIntyre may not be a good fit. I mean, some of them we can address, like internet access, that's easy, or some of the other things that were mentioned. But there are reasons why it wouldn't be ideal, and I get that. But I do want to continue this dialogue. I'd be very interested to hear what options you all come up with in your research. And that site, somebody mentioned over on the corner. Bailey, did you say you know for a fact that's city-owned, or?
It's a city park.
Okay, because I was under the impression that it was university-owned, but
It's not under the Parks and Recs department.
right.
But on Google Maps, it's listed as a city
Well,
park.
I wouldn't put any faith in Google Maps.
And I think she's not here right now, but somebody looked into it and said that it was city-owned property.
Well, that may be. If that's true, that's a very compelling site. It's not in a. It's not used by central. I know Jamie and others have been thinking that it would be more big anyway. That would help in that process. So that's a very compelling site. If it is a city's site, I'd be happy to push for it. I'm not convinced that it's city-owned.
I mean, I'll look into it
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I do want to say that while we're not pushing for a decision today or tomorrow, we do want a decision fairly soon. But we want to work with you on this. And so we've got a city council that wants to see unanimously wants to occupy Charlottesville continue. Right here and speaking about that. Now, I mean, if there's no movement on finding an alternative site, and if you decide you really want to dig in here, you know, we may end up having to move. But I hope it doesn't come to that. I mean, I hope we can find a good solution. So, I don't know if anybody else has any questions or direct responses.
Tuesday night is when we're deciding.
Okay. Oh, great.
I was just curious, and I'm being sincere here. What is the actual emergency with us deciding right away? Because it's November, heading into December. Walking your dog is not an emergency. Nobody's coming here to have picnics. There are no city planned events that are going to be happening here soon. So if it's just people complaining, I don't accept that as an emergency. Just, I'd like to know what the issues are.
The issue there is that when you guys got the permit to be in Lee Park, first of all, neither the city nor Occupied Charlottesville is allowed to engage the residents around here who use Lee Park on a regular basis. Maybe you did, I just didn't know about it. And we started getting pushback from those residents who said they've got a permit for Thanksgiving. We heard loud and clear from a lot of them that after that date, we want our park cut. And I would say they've been very patient in that regard. And yes, they did come out full force on Monday night at the city council meeting, but I guarantee you, we're trying to find a solution where you're right, you're building what you want to do. Is it going to put you in conflict? I think if you dig in here, this is my personal opinion, if you dig in here and insist that your rights to be in this place trump the neighborhood rights to have the park back, you unnecessarily create enemies of people who might otherwise be supporters and friends of Occupy Charlotte. And I think if we could find a solution, whether it's that spot in UVA or somewhere else, it doesn't have to be back in the park. I didn't come today, harsh on your throats. But if you find another solution, it might be a way to build some community goodwill for what you're trying to do.
Question.
No.
No question. Ask a question.
Okay, hold on. So
Yeah, stack.
Stack right there.
let's stack it. Okay, so thank you.
Okay.
And so stack it. So you're communicating. This is what you do. Okay. Anyone who wants to have a direct response can go